Can you talk? You mentioned that before, but I feel like we didn't really get into the details. Do you want to talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah. I'm happy to just say this outright because, like, fuck him. But yeah, when I was working at Grubhub, yeah, uh, yeah, yeah, that was a time when I found out I was in Chicago for like an entire team wide sort of get together to talk about different technical solutions that every team was working on or whatever. And it was just all between all the site reliability engineers, basically. There was like 20 of us. Also, funnily enough, I was the only person of color in that whole team out of 20 people spread between New York and Chicago. And the only person I got along with was like the only woman on the team out of like 20 people. Yeah, very surprising how they only found white guys, whatever, between two of them more. Anyway, um, yeah, there's this one person that was presenting a solution about automatically ranking a driver not only based on how late they are to deliver food, but also how early they are in delivering food. So it would like negatively impact their rating if they're too early, because presumably someone could be on the train, order food, and then if like the food gets there too early, it would be sitting on their stoop like super cold or something. And I was just like, what the fuck?
That was a serious proposition, huh?
Yeah, that was a serious system that was actually built, and that I just was like, wow.
What was the response to that?
Um, People were interested in the tech side of it, and I think there might have been some commentary around we just implement whatever product tells us to implement. So I mean, it wasn't like our decision necessarily, but like we did implement it, obviously. But yeah, it's usually decisions that happen from a different team as well at the same time. Once it comes to us, it's out of our hands kind of to some degree, right? Like in terms of how the product is designed or whatever.
So can you talk? Okay, well, this brings up another question for me then, which is like, can you talk a little bit more about like designing these systems, like how you work together with other teams, and like because I'm sure that also has an impact on what we were talking about before in terms of like fitting in with the culture and like making things work. Like you probably have to, if you have a better understanding of the structure, I'm sure that like you're able to navigate everything a little bit better and easier. But so I want to understand that system a little bit more myself, which is how do you guys work together in teams, and like who's running projects, like who's in charge, how do they communicate with other people who are in charge, like how does it all work?
Yeah. So there's definitely different layers to it. And they're usually like, so there's generally like a product team that does like product design. They do like, user research and all that sort of stuff, right? And then there's like, the engineering team that actually does the work on implementing the, product. And then there's usually a project manager that kind of facilitates to some degree. And it's all facilitated in a lot of places, but not everywhere. There's this process called Agile, and it's usually basically the idea is engineers work 2 weeks at a time, and there's these meetings that kind of bookend the 2 week process where it's kind of like the idea is like continuous improvement and also continuous delivery of features and product or whatever. But usually the interface happens where a product owner, so someone that represents kind of like, the person that represents, maybe not only the customer, but also like what the product ought to do or something, or like what they found out from like research or whatever. they're sitting in this meeting along with like engineers and a project manager. The project manager facilitates the conversation, and it's usually the product manager or product owner is like, all right, we need to, we have this timeline, we need to implement this, this, and this. And then like the engineers just discuss, okay, well, is this feasible? Like, how do we implement this? Like, and it's not like ever like, why are we implementing it? It's more of like, how or can we implement it? Sort of.
So the why has already happened by that stage by the time that you're even like in the room.
Yep.
So who's deciding the why? The product creation people?
Yeah, the product people usually are doing the why, and are trying to figure out like, market fit or whatever else, right? And yeah.
Thanks for watching. For access to the full-length conversation and all of the 2-hour-long unedited conversations that I've had on race, click the support link in the description below. Thanks for your support and see you next time.